Disclaimer: this episode contains discussions of intimate partner violence and may include descriptions or references to physical, emotional, or psychological abuse. Listener discretion is strongly advised. The content may be distressing to some listeners, especially survivors of abuse. If you or someone you know is experiencing intimate partner violence, resources and support are available. You can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE or 7233 or visit their website for confidential help.
Hello, my name is Shanay Teeter, and I'm a part of the House of Ruth Storytellers Project, and I'm here to tell my story. One summer night in Washington, D.C., uptown, year 1998, when it was okay to walk the neighborhood with your friends. We would walk for miles to many different hoods, enjoying life. My lover, my partner, my friend saw me walking with my friend enjoying life and slapped me in the face at a gas station in the front of friends and friends of friends. You see, we were just hooking up after he was released from prison and agreed that we were officially in a monogamous relationship. So I figured, oh, he was showing love, but my feelings were hurt. He was my everything, so I thought. I have 5 beautiful children, 3 of which belonged to him. He loved us and always made sure we had nice things, a nice place to stay, always took us to nice places and trips. We lived pretty good. He loved me so much that whenever I wanted to spend a little time with family or friends, he would get so angry and want to fight. You see, I was born into a praying family. And when I would tell them my issues, they would pray for me, but never really intervened. Even the time I was in a store and he came in after he saw me speak to a male friend and a classmate, he went off, chased me around the store, and threw a Campbell's soup can at my head. Boy, did it hurt for days and caused the biggest knot. Yet, I knew he loved me. Hmm. Because he was very upset when even I spoke to another guy. I had no idea how I was going to tell my children, family and friends where the knot came from. I lied and I said I had fallen, and that was that. Although I knew my family and friends, they knew it was a lie. Let me tell you, Terrence was so in love with me. We'll use that name for uh, security purposes. One day, my cousin called and wanted to hang out on a summer day. I was so excited to just go hanging out with my cousin and my children. It had been a while. When she arrived to pick me up, he got so mad and began to argue with me and sliced my foot with a knife because he didn't want me to go anywhere, caused my Achilles tendon to pop, and I walked with the limp for years. While walking with the limp from a cut, slapped in the face, hit in the head with the Campbell soup can, hit with the vacuum cleaner several times, ran off the road with the car and more, spit on, cursed out, and called every name in the book. I had a praying grandmother. I told her it was time to leave. I lost myself and no longer knew Shanay, the girl with confidence and tact, the popular girl in school and in my community, the girl that a lot of guys looked at and paid attention to and was easy on the eyes. I was intelligent and always carried myself well. And although I had my 5 beautiful children early, I was able to pursue my dreams and just about anything because of my strong family support. Yes, he was a provider, for sure. And every girl loves a man that provides. However, I could no longer do it. He had chipped away the layers of Shanay for years until I didn't know myself anymore. I was sickly looking from stress. I no longer believed he loved me and realized his actions, the hitting, the cutting, the assaulting, were not acts of love. It was acts of abuse. The layers of myself had been peeled away until I felt naked, alone, deserted, confused, and desolate. I was scared to leave and scared to stay. I had to pull myself up and think about living for my children, for my sanity. I had to leave. I had the courage to leave and go into a woman's shelter miles away from where we lived. All 5 of my children and I, we stayed there for a while. I was eating again. I was able to sleep again. And I connected more than ever before with God. No, it wasn't easy. And yes, I cried, but I survived. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you for joining us for another episode of She Conversations. I'm going to be your host, Ashley.
And I'm Tanya.
And you just heard a powerful story from our special guest today, Miss Shanay. Miss Shanay, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your honesty, you being brave enough to sit here on our little old podcast to share your story. So we definitely would just like to talk to you a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
So I guess Tanya.
Yeah, extremely powerful. Just gives a voice to so many women that may be in a similar situation. So just want to thank you for sharing. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. So you shared your story with us, and this was the first time Tanya and I have heard the story. So we were just speechless, just hearing about, everything that you went through. And these are just some of the details. Like, I'm sure there was a lot more that you could have really, really got into.
Yeah.
But just even hearing that was just like, oh my God, like,
it was.
I'm so thankful that you are here today,
Thank you.
able to share, and tell us about it. So going back to the beginning of your story, what were some of the, I guess, first signs that something in the relationship didn't feel right?
When he slapped me at that gas station, we had been kind of seeing each other off and on. And that was the first sign that something wasn't right.
Mm-hmm. So how did you feel? How did that make you feel? Because I know you said there was people like around.
I was embarrassed. One, I felt embarrassed. I felt, is this right? Is this love? What is this? I didn't know. So the embarrassment definitely stands out. The questions definitely stand out. Unsure. That's how I felt.
And then I just have another, and it's like when you see, because I feel like we may have been in situations where you've encounter or witness something like that. Did anybody step in and be like, "Hey, like, what are you doing? Like,
No.
don't hit her. Like, what's wrong with you?" Nothing.
Nothing. I almost think that some of the females I was with that day thought that was normal. It's just a feeling because it's never been expanded. It's never been talked about. It's, oh, I like y'all together type of thing. But it was never said, he shouldn't have did that. That was wrong. How are you feeling? None of that.
Wow. So how long were you in your relationship?
About 12, 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah. I'm just grateful that you had the strength to leave, to walk away.
Thank you.
And to get help.
Yeah.
Thinking back, I'm sure you've experienced emotional as well as physical abuse within your relationship. Overall, like, how do you feel like it affected you?
Oh, gosh. It affected so many parts of my life, so many parts of my body. It affected me trusting people. It affected the love I know my family had for me. But because you're in the moment or you're with this person, you're brainwashed almost to think that they don't love you, they don't care for you. So I felt like the disconnect from my family. It changed how I looked, how I cared for myself, how I cared for my kids at some point. The list goes on, in fact. But it just affects your whole self, your whole being. Did I answer that?
You did. Okay. Yeah.
And so with our podcast, our podcast is funded by the WIN grant. And so the goal of the grant is to, increase awareness, decrease or reduce isolation and stigma as it relates to HIV and sexual health. And so you don't really hear people talk about the intersection between intimate partner violence and sexual health. So do you believe or do you feel like someone who's experiencing abuse, it may be harder for them to make, I guess, decisions as far as protecting their sexual health?
Yes. I didn't have that issue, but I did have some, to the fact where, and we're being candid, right? pH balance thrown off. You know something's wrong. You know something's not okay. I've been told if you have anything, it's not, you didn't get it from me. You must be out there cheating, which wasn't the case. And sure enough, there was some things going on, right? But no, thank God I skipped the HIV, the AIDS thing. But it's a true thing for some of the women that I encounter. And so I've heard stories of them, and I can only put them in this place right now because I didn't experience that so much. But just some of the stories of you can't go to the doctors if you go in there and tell them anything, that I did such and such, I'll hurt you. You know, you just very guarded.
Yeah.
And while you're suffering, right? While you're not healthy because of your abuser having ranks or just being manipulative over the situation.
Yeah. And I know Ty and I, eventually with our organization, we want to offer clinical services.
Yes.
Now, at that time, did you feel like you had like a safe space, or did you feel like you had a provider where you were comfortable enough to go in there and be like, this is my situation, I need to get tested? Did you?
So okay. Let's be clear. Not everyone wants to share that they're going through that stuff, right? With the domestic violence, intimate partner violence. But I knew, to me, I'm okay. Look, I have told the doctors, I'm in this situation. I need help. I need, services. What can you do? And I'm going to take the sex out really quickly and
Okay.
I'll come back to that if you
Yeah.
give me 1 second. You remember during my story, I mentioned my Achilles tendon. He got my, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can remember going to the doctor and lying on that part, right? So yes, they lie. They have to because they're scared. They're not ready to leave. We're not ready to leave our abuser. We're not ready to see what's down the road because of fear and all types of other things, right? Yeah. But I remember lying to the doctor and I told them that I had backed into a lawnmower or something like that. How that lie came about, but that was my lie and I'm sticking to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looked, and I will never forget, he looked at me as if I was lying. He knew, right? The abused want to protect their person, regardless to anything. So it puts them in it pulls them in different directions. So as far as clinicians, I'm coming back now. I think it's safe, but there has to be a plan. I'm going to tell you this, doctor, right? But I need your help. And I don't want it to get to him. I'm asking for help. I don't need you to call the police while he's sitting in his waiting room watching.
Right.
Can you please make a plan with me? Have another nurse come in here. There's ways of doing things. I've seen it, right? But yeah, as far as clinicians, I think it's safe. I just think it should be a plan.
Yeah.
Did I answer that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No.
You did. I have a question.
Sure.
I know that you ultimately ended up leaving at the end, but were there times in between or beforehand that you wanted to leave or you tried to leave and maybe kind of changed your mind or didn't do it?
For sure. For me, I had reached out to one of the local agencies in D.C., and they, in fact, got me out. We were at this house, and they did intake. And, so I left that time. I left 2 or 3 other times before that. And statistically, you leave 7 times before it's the final time. So, yes, I tried multiple times to leave. And the last one was just like, I'm done. I can't do it.
That's what I say. What was different with the last time?
My mindset. The will, power, the will to live, the tired, the sleepless nights, my children having to watch this. I'm raising 2 daughters who I don't want to see or be victim to what I'm doing, and they'll think that it's okay. So my mind changed. My will, my will to live, my aspect on just living and nurturing changed. And that came from God, I must say, because I wasn't there all those 6, 7, 8, 9 times. I didn't keep count, let me be honest. That I wanted to. That was the final straw. I had to live. I had to make a difference for my children. I had to make an example for my daughters. I had to let my sons know that it's not okay to hit on women. It's not okay to make her feel this way. You see your mama crying. You see me going through these things. I had to make a stance. And that's what I did.
Okay.
So I know you talked a lot about the support of your family, your relationship with God, the resources that were available.
Yeah.
So when you did choose to leave, like, I guess what helped you continue to move forward? Like what resources, the who and the what? Because leaving is just the first
That's one
step.
thing.
That's
That's
one
it.
thing.
That's
But to
it.
continue to move forward, like what helped you do that?
I've always been blessed with a great family. They're very supportive. They stood 10 toes, whatever you want to do. And then there's the outside resources. There's the places like House of Ruth and my sister's place and other agencies within the DC area that I stayed in that kind of coax me with the next steps. Do you want your things? Do you don't want your things? Are you don't you want your things? Giving you gift cards, finding food for you, making sure you're sheltered. And so when you align your support system with the resources, it's much easier, right? Because the family can't do it by themselves, right? Just be honest. I was mom of 5, right? But the resources are what really matters, to the point where they're almost like your second family. You know, your intake specialist or your case manager. I don't know what they call, different names for different positions. But that's just having those resources available. Mental health, sex health, just available for you. So that's what kept me. And of course, your faith in God. Like, I believe in God. I know He's real. I know He's going to get me through this. I know we're going to get through this. But family, God first, family, resources. That's how I got through. Yeah.
It's powerful. It's powerful. Definitely.
I guess it's interesting how I actually found you. So we knew based off of our focus group that domestic violence, intimate partner violence is something that the women want to hear more about.
Yes.
And so I was just looking, I was like, who can we have on our podcast? And I went to the House of Ruth website and then I saw the storytelling part of it.
Yes.
And I saw all of the women and, you can preview, I guess, part of everyone's story. So I was scrolling and then I don't know why, I stopped on your name and your profile and I was like, Miss Shanay.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just something about her story was written here. I was like, let me reach out and see what happens. So I was telling Tanya, and I was like, this is exciting.
Yeah.
And then you actually respond because you reach out to websites and you don't know if people gonna get back. Then you responded, and I was like, oh shoot, she actually gonna do our podcast.
I'm gonna do it.
So what I guess inspires you, or why do you continue to tell your story? Like, why is it important for you to come on our podcast or just to continue to tell your story during other workshops and settings?
Because IPV, intimate partner violence, domestic violence, it hasn't stopped, right? So I continue to tell my story for hope that you can get out, you can leave. There's resources, there's people, there's a plan. We can help you. I tell my story for me too, right? I ain't what I used to be 20-something years ago. I don't look like that, what I've been through. So I continue to tell my story. I continue to tell my story, hoping other people will free themselves to be able to tell their story. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. So in final thoughts, because I'm sure there may be someone out there that may be in a similar situation and just don't know where to turn or how to even start the process.
Yeah.
Do you have any words for them or just some guidance that you can give them on steps that they should take?
Thank you. You are not alone. That's first. There are ways out. There are people who will genuinely help you. You can do this and believe in yourself, because there is sun once you come through the tunnel. There is sun to greet you, to get you where you need to be. There are people there that will help you. So keep fighting, find your way, ask for help, and remember you're not alone.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm like blown away right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously. Just a level of transparency and a story of resilience. It is just so encouraging, and I think my heart is just so filled right now. I just thank you so much for being here, and I'm glad that Ashley made that connection, because the way she said it happened is exactly the way it happened. She was like, Tanya, I came across someone named Shanay, and I really would love her to be here on our podcast, and I'm so happy that she did. Like, seriously. So.
Yeah. And so I guess to close, we definitely want to share with our listeners resources. I know you mentioned House of Ruth.
Yes.
Are there any, like, off the top of your head you want to leave us with?
So, can I?
Yeah.
So, and also, I do want you to know that House of Ruth, there's House of Ruth, D.C., but there's also House of Ruth, Baltimore, Maryland, I'm sorry. And so that's where we're based out of, the Storytellers Project. However, both House of Ruth will help you to get a start, right? But then we have, I have the hotline, if you want to put that out there. We have Pro Bono Counseling Project, if you want to put that out there. There's also the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And then we also have clinicians at the House of Ruth Maryland that can assist for intake and placements and resources.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. So however you choose to use this, I'll leave it for you.
Okay.
And I'll definitely be there on the other end waiting for you to tell your story while I facilitate it.
Yes. And so we'll definitely put those resources on our website. Somehow we're going to drop them in the caption when, this video airs, just so people will have access to it. Thank you again so much from coming out here to tape with us. There's a whole game going on outside, but Miss Shanay, she was like, it don't even matter.
I'm coming up 95.
I'm coming. She was like, Ashley, I'm going to be there, like, regardless. So thank you so much.
And if I can tell you, ladies, thank you for taking the step to have this podcast so that it can travel to many ears, many listeners, many people that are looking. So we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. And so that is the end of this episode. Thank you again for joining us, and stay tuned for our next episode.
Thank you.